Welcome back. We are now going to tackle the brakes because I've still got a little bit of time before I need to eat and get ready for the gym. So I'm going to show you the current state of the brake fluid that I have topped off, but I have not flushed since I bought the car. And you can see it's greenish, grayish, cloudy, just, yeah, not what you want in your car. So I already had to disassemble partially the front brakes when I was doing the lower ball joints before, so those are already pulled partially apart. I haven't pulled the pads out yet, but I'm going to show you what I got. So I got the StopTech. It's their .4 fluid, so we're going to be flushing it out with that fluid. We got StopTech's Street Performance brake pads for the front and the rear, and those come in a nice little package. Just some basic looking brake pads. Comes with all the new hardware as well. Well, it comes with the new like shims. And then I went with StopTech's Sport brake rotors. So I got these for all four corners. They are if I could see my camera. Yeah, they are a drilled and slotted rotor. I was just going to go slotted, but I got these off the website called kseriesparts.com. And they had this full kit, all four rotors, all front and rear pads, for something. It was like $250 for all of that. And then I just added the fluid on, so I'd have that. So just to get the slotted rotors with pads and new lines would have cost like $350 just for the front. So I went ahead and did this kit. So they are drilled, slotted. They should stop on an absolute dime, but this is what we are about to put on the car. So kind of show you guys my process here. So I've got a little brake compressor. So compressing the caliper on one side. You want to do this before you take off the opposite side, otherwise you could potentially actually push the other caliper piston out, which would be really bad. So that, and then as you go, you don't want the reservoir to overflow. So as you're going, I have these little squeezy bulbs. They're just a few bucks from Harbor Freight. Just keep sucking the fluid down, and that way you don't overflow brake fluid all over your car. So once that's off, we can pull these pads out, and wow, these are actually Honda brake pads. They're not in bad shape. Doing this for a couple reasons. One, I do want better brakes for the track. These work really well, but the rotors are warped, and again, probably a factory part, but these things are pretty darn warped, and every time I hit the brakes, I get a nice foot massage. So gotta fix that, and I figured rather than buying all new hardware, I'd just go ahead, replace them with all new parts, get these StopTech parts on there, and I'm gonna feel a lot happier when I hit the track next month. So got our nice shiny new hardware in. It's pretty obvious. We've got the smaller rotors for the back, larger rotors for the front. Now something to note, if you do have slotted rotors, you have to pay attention to, these are left side, right side, and the fronts even have an additional sticker here that you got to remove before you actually put it on the car. So let me grab a razor, and I'll just clean that little sticker off. And then sometimes rotors are shipped with just a thin layer of oil on the surface to prevent any rust issues. So I always give your surface a nice little spray down of brake cleaner, and then just wipe it off with a clean rag. Make sure you don't have any residue, because anything that's on this rotor is going to get embedded into your pads. So if you have any kind of oil on this rotor, it's going to get stuck in the pads, and your brakes will not be working right. So, nice and clean. And go ahead, pop that on the car. Looking good. Now something Honda does with their brakes is they have these little screws that you can actually hold the rotor on with. Each one comes with 2. I had to actually chisel out the 2 on this side and mangled them because they were seized up. So the other side had 2 usable ones, so I'm just using 1 per. These aren't like a safety thing or anything, it's simply just to hold the rotor in place while you're putting the rest of the brakes on so you're not fighting with it. So I bolted the caliper bracket back on. Now there's a few trains of thought with where to put the squealer. Not all aftermarket brakes do come with the squeal warning clip, but these do. Personally, I put them on the back, on the bottom. It's just how I've always done it. Other people put them wherever, but that's just how I've always done it, so that's how I'll keep doing it. So pop those on. See, they line up pretty much flush with the edge of the rotor. And then we will take our caliper and slide him into place. All right. Get this tightened down, bolt this bracket back in place, and we will be done with our first side. Both sides on the front are now done. New pads and rotors installed. So now we will move to the back and keep rolling. One difference to note on the rear calipers on these cars is instead of being able to use that caliper presser, it's actually slotted, and there's a tool to do this, but you have to turn it back in. So all I do, I just use a big screwdriver and just turn it. Takes a little bit, but it works without having to buy another expensive tool. So just one thing to note on these backs on the Hondas. Yeah, just a little more annoying to get the caliper piston back in. And we have rear brakes. This thing now has slotted drilled all 4 corners, StopTech pads. So now I just gotta flush the fluid, and then we're gonna be driving this thing this evening as long as nothing unforeseen comes up. Now, of course, always remember, if you have done your brakes, you've got to remember to pump them back up. Otherwise, you have a nasty surprise when you go to back up. So I just give them a bunch of pumps, and now we'll bleed it. I'm just gonna gravity bleed at all 4 bleeders with the brand new fluid. Back on the ground, all together, all new brakes, got the wheels torqued back on, and I'm gonna go ahead and fire it up, see how it feels, hopefully drive it tonight. See those pretty rotors. And you've probably seen me pan by these a couple of times, but here's your sneak peek at the new wheels and the new tires. But I gotta make use of this guy, roll those fenders, so I'll get to that. But anywho, that's it for this one. She's back in the ground, should be drivable. I haven't gotten to drive it since Friday, so I'm pretty excited to be able to get back in the car. Hopefully drive it to the gym tonight, feel everything out, see if I got any issues or anything I gotta worry about, or if I am all good to go. So we'll see you guys next time. Have a good one. Thanks for watching.